Stephen here, and this is episode 7 of the Essence of Coding course. And this is actually the last episode before we talk about how to study, how we use all the cards that you've been building in your deck. And in this episode, I want to talk about a longer snippet of code wherein maybe you set a variable more than once. So we have 4 lines here, and we set x to 10, and then we set y to this big expression, then we set x to 5, and then we set y to something else. So this is a program with 4 lines long, and whenever you set a variable that you've already set before, that's called an update. So we'll end up making an execution card for this whole thing and a vocabulary card for this idea of updating. Let's look at how that works. So make an execution card for this sequence of 4. The computer will start on this line. Go ahead and draw that t-chart reflexively. You're going to do that every time. And set x to 10, that's easy. We've done that several times already, so that goes in the t-chart. Set y to this expression. That's pretty easy by now. It evaluates this expression. It's 10 plus 4, that's 14. So this gets, in the computer's mind, gets turned into 14 and stored into y. And now here's where the interesting thing happens. So the computer did this line, it did this line, and now it's on this line. Set x to 5. This is where, if you don't know what you're doing, you might do it wrong. Some people I see say that x is 5, and that's wrong, because you can't have x be in the computer's memory twice. Instead, what the computer does is it clobbers whatever data was stored for x earlier and replaces it with the new data, which is 5. So the 10 goes away, and the 5 gets stored in there. And the computer actually has no recollection that it was ever 10. It really does just clobber that data, so there's no way to get it back once you store new data on top of the old data. So x is now 5, and that's when this line is finished. And so now the computer executes the last line and sets y to this big expression here, which has a variable read inside of it. So this becomes a 4. This becomes whatever x is in memory, which is 5. So that's a 5. And then that's 5 plus 4, so this becomes 9. And then the whole expression becomes 9 plus 4, which is 13. So that all gets crossed out in the computer's mind. 13 is what gets stored into y. And once again, this is not what you do. You don't put another y in there. That's wrong. Instead, the existing y gets crossed out and replaced with the new value. So make this execution card and make a vocabulary card for this idea of updating. So updating a variable. Variable update, that should be the front of the card, and the back, the answer, the definition for variable update is setting a variable after it's already been set. Setting or writing a variable again. So that's the front, that's the back. So 2 cards, 2 last cards, and then in the next video, we'll see how well you have put your deck together, and I'll show you how to study it. So if you haven't been making the cards, go back through all the videos up to this point, make all the cards, and we'll come back with a full deck, and I'll tell you how you should be studying using your deck.